Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. He's back today after a couple of weeks. You know him as Skylar
Carter.
It's the Power Hour with Skylar Carter. Take it away, Skylar.
Yes. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Power Hour with me on the show. My mom was on last week, and she got to talk about her new store and what God is doing in her life, and her dream has came true, and the Lord has blessed her. So it's really awesome. If you missed that, you can go back to last week and watch it and help her out as well and donate things to her. The WHAM Foundation is what it's called now. It used to be called Christian Foundation in Ozark. So, yeah. Also, we got back on here, my cousin Cody Drew. A couple weeks ago, we started going through, kind of what he grew up in and his addictions and things like that. Now we're getting to his testimony and finishing up. Not finishing up probably, but just going through his life and what the Lord is doing and how God is moving in him and his family's life. So it's pretty awesome to hear. Especially for myself as well, and encouraging even for myself. So if you do feel encouraged today by this show, by the testimony, please share on your Facebook, on your YouTube, or wherever you need to share it, and share it there. And I'm going to start this. Hold on, Cody. I got to start my watch party. Come watch the Power Hour with my cousin. Okay, there we go. So yeah, Cody, did you start the watch party already on yours?
No, man, I don't know how.
Okay, here, I'm going to tell you how to do it real quick.
It popped up in Andrea's thing.
Here, I'll tell you how to do it real quick since we got I'm going to give people a couple minutes to get on as well. Go to your Facebook, type in Acts Media Group, and then you'll scroll down, you'll see the live video. Click on it, and then you'll click share, and then click watch party. So once he does that, we will get going, and I'll keep talking. So another thing I also want to say is I do work for Vision Landscape, and I am doing the mowing and the weeding for them right now. So if you do need your yard mowed or weeded, please feel free to contact me or the owner, Dallas Horde. Vision Landscape, that is. So, be pretty awesome. Give me some more yards. I'd love it. But yeah. Did you get it, Cody?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Cool. All right. Well, 2 weeks ago, kind of ended on, I think at a high school or college. I don't remember. You remember because you told me last night. And I already forgot.
Yeah, I got jumped. And
yep.
Went through the court case.
Here, just to give everybody a quick recap, just in case I don't know. Some people don't always go back and watch. Just a quick one.
So basically, grew up in a great home and got mixed up in the wrong people and ended up getting jumped. I had a bunch of surgeries and, kind of really woken me up. But I still... I had my spiritual life, but it wasn't fully, but I was still using mostly pills.
Okay. Yeah, so we like to call that Christian atheist. I do.
Right.
That's what I was, too. But yeah. Okay. And so you just got jumped, and we went through that story.
Yeah, I went through that, and then went through the 2 years after where, a lot of ups and downs with my spirituality.
Yeah, and that's when you went to college too, right?
Yeah, well, college, for the military people, the respect I have for them, because I wanted, I wasn't able to serve. So after I got jumped and during the surgeries, I didn't want anything to pop up and have to go to the military, from a draft if they did it or anything. Right. So I stayed in school.
Okay.
And right now I'm basically to the point 2 years after I'm ready to move home. We'll move back home to our hometown of Friendswood down here in Houston.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with that. So I guess I'll just start off. Or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. You just go ahead, man.
All right.
It's your
so,
testimony. I want people to hear this.
You know, we moved down to Houston. Well, we're from Houston down here in Friendswood, and moved up to Grapevine. Well, now my brother at this time is working in Houston again. He's back in Friendswood. And my dad had retired from his position at Grapevine principal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, an opportunity came up down here in Friendswood for a principal position, and he went for it, and he took it, and ended up making it. So now him and my mom are moving down here. My brother's already here. I'm still kind of jumping around colleges, don't really have anything planned, and
Yeah.
I came down with him, you know, and when we moved, I want to say it was like exactly a week before Hurricane Ike hit.
Hurricane Ike, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hurricane Ike, you know, one that kind of did more of the hurricane damage down here in Houston
Yeah.
than the ones that have done the flood damage.
Yeah.
And so we moved down, and again, you know, I'm living the life like I think I should, but I'm still, you know, using Vicodin, pain pills, stuff like that. So we go through the hurricane. It was intense, you know, and you know, we lost a lot of electricity. A lot of damage happened from it.
Yep.
And this next part is something that happened, and you'll understand, but it took me a long time to realize what this next part really meant. And so one night, it was probably a week after Hurricane Ike, you know, we're bored, everything's closed down and stuff, so obviously you just use, you know, and boredom.
Right. Yep.
And I had gone to sleep, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, sometime real early, I get woken up, and I don't know if I feel it or see someone kind of sitting at the foot of my bed. And it was kind of one of those, what the heck, you know, what is this? What's going on type of deals. And all it said was, weather the storm, I am here. And man, it
say that again?
Goosebumps. It kind of scared me. What?
Say that again. What did it say?
It said, weather the storm, I am here.
Okay.
Well, I immediately knew that it was, you know, something big. I got up. I actually flushed all the pills, and immediately was like, all right, let's go. I know what this is. This is God's telling me. I've been wanting to quit. This stuff has a hold on my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I quit and immediately wake up, and I'm miserable. I have withdrawals, you know, and I start trying to find ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And when I say withdrawals, I've explained it as someone 3 times my size that's living inside my body, trying to just break out of my body. You know, at every 5-10 seconds. You know, I'm just you know.
Yeah.
So again, you know, this happens, and I try to fight it. I'm walking, I'm exercising, I'm you know, trying to find medicine over the counter to calm my nerves, to you know, to do whatever to ease it.
Yep.
Now, one thing I didn't do is I didn't seek God in prayer. I didn't open the Bible. I didn't, you know, I didn't do anything like that, you know, and so I ended up having to go to inpatient to get some help, and so they put me on a regimen, and I was supposed to stay there for 30 days. I think I stayed there for 26.
Okay.
But while in there, it really touched me. And all I had was my Bible and my iPad. And so that's where I first started spending a lot of time reading.
So you had a real encounter with God, and
well, yes, I had the opportunity for it. I guess, Skyler.
Yeah. Okay.
I did it out of convenience, out of boredom.
Right.
And that way. So, while I'm in there, people are coming in that are they're hurting, man, and coming from the hospital with some bandages, like people were trying to end their lives and then ended up there, and they're right there in front of me, so that I use that as a time to kind of share the word and give them hope.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then day 26 came, and I felt good, and I'm reading again, and the song "Tell the World Jesus Lives" by, I think, Hillsong came on. And I was like, man, why am I sitting here? I can't tell nobody. So I called my parents, like, let's go. I'm ready. And, it got out, and, I tackled it. I went strong. I was on fire. I was going to church. I was sharing things, and I was doing it right. I was clean. Yeah. I was living the clean life.
Yeah.
Well, we get to about 6 month period, and 6 months came, and I hear a little voice telling me, "Man, you never got your last high. Most people get their last high before they quit."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, that's true, and what's one time? I've gone 6 months. I can do it one time.
And isn't that what we all say? One more time. Yeah.
Well, ran into some old buddies and people I knew, and
of course you did.
What do you know? They have it.
Of course you ran right into them.
Yep. And so I got some, and it was hard to buy, and I knew it was the wrong thing. But again, selfishly, I wanted it, and so
so
I took it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop you just real quick while this thought's on my mind. I just want to say it. So if you notice, majority through people's testimonies, when they start to turn their life around to the Lord and start spending daily time, you'll start to notice that your crutch, I guess you could say, or your weakness, your most desirable sin, I guess, that you do, your weakness, or whatever you want to call it, the devil knows, and he will put that right in front of you the next day. Or the week after, and testing you and seeing what choice you're going to make. And I think it's also the Lord at times as well. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. So, if you just notice. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so I ended up taking, and man, I got it. I got what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't feel disgraced about it. I didn't feel shame. I go to bed and I wake up and feeling high anxiety. I'm kind of edgy and stuff, and I'm like, man, these guys that I just met up with yesterday, they don't know nothing about me. They don't know what's my past or what I'm doing or going through. I'm gonna hit them up again. I'm not going through that again.
Okay.
And I full-fledged right back where I ended. It's not a gradual build-up where you take 2 pills here, 2 pills there,
just
and then go to 5. So, I was right back to 15 to 20 at a time, and it goes on for a little while. So I'm right there again, and I'm still using. It's like I never quit.
Yeah.
And at this time now, I'm a little bit older and more set in my ways that actually stop going to church as often.
Yeah.
Stop praying as often. Stop doing all that. And
quit doing the stuff that you kind of had to when you were growing up.
Yeah. Now I wasn't like a closet Christian. I just wasn't living it out in any part.
Yeah.
So, I live in that life where I'm indulging in the pills again, lying to people because they knew I had quit. So yeah, some people thought I was clean for a lot longer than I was. And I'm living a lie now to everybody closest to me. And, I get burnt out on it again. And like, man, what am I doing? I'm not going to get a life. I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to be able to hold nothing down. I'm going to quit. So I quit again, and the withdrawals are just horrible. And, same pain, same things. I've been through it before, though.
Yeah.
I knew what to do with my mind and how to trigger it and how to set it. So I did it on my own, but it was miserable. It wasn't fun. And basically, this is how I lived my life for the next few years, where I'd use and then I'd quit. And then again, that 6-month period. And even today, when I talk to people say the 3rd through the 6th day are the hardest, but for me, it's the 6 months. Because
I feel the same.
You're fresh, you're new on it, you're hungry for it, you're set, and then you kind of lose that.
Yeah.
And when you get to 6 months, and Satan knows that, and he's sitting back just waiting, patiently waiting. And then 6 months comes, and he's like, man, you can do it one time, it won't matter. And then you've lived it, and you're like, all right, well, I remember last time when I used, I fell back in it. So this time I'm not going to keep going.
Yeah.
This time will be just one time. And it wasn't. And, it just kept going back and forth. Well, so at this, that was for a few years. So now I'm in a moment where I'm using, and I was like, man, I gotta quit. I can't be doing this anymore. Like, I'm serious. I'm so exhausted of faking it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of hiding it. I was like, man, I'm just gonna go up to Dallas. I'm gonna stay with my buddy, and I'm just gonna go through it. I'm just gonna do it. And so I was gonna go get my mom's car and drive hers, and go up for random reason. So I get her car, and she's working at a church, and so I drop my truck, I get her car, and I take off. I get halfway to Dallas, and I stop, and I go to get out, and I don't have my wallet. I'm like, what the heck? I just have my phone. Well, I realized I left all my stuff in my truck. It's still back at the church. So I have to turn around, and my parents don't know. My family doesn't know any of this.
Yeah.
They don't know what I'm going through.
Right.
So I come back, and I go into the church, and I'm telling my mom. And we start walking out, and I just broke down and told her, I was like, Mom, I did it again. And she's like, what? I was like, I'm not clean, I'm still taken. I did it. That's why I'm going to Dallas.
So you run
well,
away.
So we're right there, and there's a little prayer room. So we go in that, and we just start praying, man. And there's a lot of tears and a lot of emotions in there.
Right.
And so I felt charged after that, and I knew something different was about to happen with this one. And so I get in the car, and I take off. And this buddy's house of mine, I talked about him earlier, they have a good, strong family base in Christianity. The dad pastors, the grandpa, the brothers, this is actually one of the houses that I used to take their medicine and shave it into the color of Tylenol, into the color of Vicodin, and then highlighter it and stuff like that, and trade them out. So I get to his house, and I immediately go, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I used to do this. And I went into his pantry, and my Tylenol that were colored were still in there. So I told him, I showed him, well, this is when prayer happened on my giving up. I didn't know what to pray. I didn't know how to pray. I'd always been real shy about praying out loud.
Right.
I felt like your prayers were judged.
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
like, you know, you couldn't ever say the right thing. You didn't want to be too beggy or demanding from
Right.
the Lord. You
Right.
know? And so, man, we just spent a lot of time praying. And I think I stayed there 5 or 6 days, which are supposed to be the hardest.
Mhm.
And when I tell y'all, like, the withdrawals were so bad before, I didn't experience anything this whole time I'm quitting in these few days. You know, I had the sweats, you know, but that's nothing normal. I've been sweating my whole life since I was in 7th grade. I mean, I had two extra undershirts in my backpack in high school for the longest time because I sweated, you know? So it's like I'm getting back to myself. And, you know, I had learned that a craving was 5 seconds. The rest is your mental willpower.
Yeah.
So when I got a craving, I immediately just fell to my knees. I'm like, Lord, here, take it. This is a joke. Enemy's trying to get me. You know, let's do it. And then get up and keep going. The thoughts, anything, I just give it to the Lord and you know, go with it.
Yeah.
And be done. And so I get done in Dallas and I come back to Houston and, you know, we get to go hunting. So we went hunting and spent some time out in the nature. And again, that helped. So before I knew it, I'm 2 weeks clean.
Okay.
And so I'm like, man, I love this. I was like, let's keep doing it. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And, well, that's the end of it. You know, I quit using.
Yeah.
I quit taking pills, and I knew I couldn't ever go back to them.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's been a good 9 years or so. I'm not counting days. I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
It's awesome.
and it's one of those things, like, I actually lived it. I lived giving it up on my own and trying to go through it
For
on my
so
own.
long.
And failed and failed and failed.
Yeah.
And the whole time God's telling me, yeah, it's going to be somewhat hard, but trust me, you know, and I did it and it worked. And so, you know, he pulled me out of it. And for that, I'm ever grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
so now, you know, I'm older. I'm pretty much getting done with college now. And starting life. And get in the oil field, doing safety and stuff. And
Yeah.
just took me away from the gym, took me away from church again, and started seeing it. And I got out of it. And now I'm kind of living and doing the normal jobs and stuff. And,
Yeah.
man, before you know it, it's like, hey, I'm 21. I'm over 21. I can drink, you know. And it makes me feel kind of good. Takes off a little edge.
Yeah.
So I started kind of drinking a little. And you know, it was casual. It wasn't nothing big time. Whatever. When it was there, I didn't have it in the house. I just have some drinks here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah.
And man, the years go by, and now I'm having a drink every day.
Man.
No, not every day. Every night it seems like I'll have something. And let me rewind this a little bit.
Okay.
Before the every night thing, so I ended up meeting what's now my wife.
Oh yeah, yeah. She plays a huge role in this.
Yeah, and you know, she's just the most amazing woman ever. And she, you know, she has 2 young daughters, and you know, so we're kind of starting to kind of make this work, and praying and going to church for dates, and
Yeah.
and you know, doing date nights and spending time together, and you know, spending a lot of time going out a lot. You start, you know, and you drink when you go out. You start having more than once a week or twice a week.
Right.
And you know what, we ended up hitting it off real quick, and you know, knowing that we were the right ones for each other real quick, and got engaged and ended up getting married almost 7 years ago.
Wow.
And so, what?
I said it's been that long. I was just talking to myself.
I know, it's crazy. And you know, after we got married, you know, we start trying to plan our life out. Like, all right, we're gonna wait till, you know, year 2, and then we'll start trying to have a kid.
And she already had kids, right? She brought kids.
She had two little girls, yes.
Okay.
And so we're trying to plan our lives out, and about when we're gonna have our kid or start trying.
Yeah.
And then literally 2 weeks later, she's starting to feel something, so she takes a test, and of course she's pregnant. So again, it's like we try to take it and put our timing. We try to make it what we want.
Right.
And God will quickly pump the brakes and say, "No, brother, you're not in charge. I am." You know, and just show you. In these,
that's what I tell everybody when
you
they
know,
say, "Oh, we're done with kids." I said, "If Lord wants you to have more kids, He'll plan it for you."
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that happened, and you know, I've stayed clean on the pills and stuff, living good, and so next thing you know, it's like we're married and we're home, we have these kids and stuff. Well, they go to sleep, and I'll make a drink. You know, I'm working and then have all these kids and wife and a new life. Like, I went from a single man to a dating man to a married man with a family of 4 to quickly a married man and a family of 5. And so it was a lot, and you know, ended up drinking, and it wasn't nothing to be concerned about, Skylar. You know, I've managed it well. You know, kids would be asleep, I'd make a drink, or you know, I didn't wake up ever and make a drink. I didn't drink on the way home from work, no roadies or whatever. I didn't, you know, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I even work from home most of the week and now every day. And it would be after work. It never happened during work, and never happened during driving, never driving.
Yeah.
And so now this is a few years later, and I go to the doctor because I'm having some stomach pains. And at this time, I quit working out, y'all. I'm a heavy guy at this point.
Yeah, Cody
You know,
Cody used to be built like a lean machine, and then he got the dad bod.
Well, it's more than a dad body. It's a Santa body or something. And you know, it wasn't who I was, and so I am having these stomach pains in my sides, and I'm just kind of foggy, kind of in my head and stuff. So I go get my blood work.
Now, was this after me and Brittany had been coming down and visiting you?
Yeah, Skylar, this is actually about a year and a half ago.
Okay, well, I'm going to say something real quick. Just, yeah, anyways, so during that time, because me and Brittany, we would come down there whenever she first got diagnosed with cancer. We would come down there to Texas, fly down there, got a free flight, and go stay with Uncle Dana, which is Cody's dad, and Aunt Tricia and Grandma, and stay with them for the majority of the week, for a whole week almost, and go to chemo, do her treatment stuff. And I just remember Cody, just every time, man, that yeah, you'd come over at night, you'd have a drink in your hand. So I just remember that. But yeah, it's just crazy from what I saw you to where you are now. It's just really cool.
And Skylar even called me during that time.
Oh yeah, I did.
He was like, Cody, I'm worried about you.
Yep.
You know,
That was after
Or
the river, right? With
I'm not sure.
I think it was, because that's when I was like, yeah, because we went to a river down in Texas and spent some time down there, just swim. But yeah, I just noticed that, yeah, and that's when I called you. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what I said, so go ahead.
Yeah, I don't either.
But, yeah.
It was one of those things like that happened back in right before I got jumped, where those guys came to my house and were like, Cody, I don't, and I shunned them.
Yeah.
You know, so this one was a little different, and you know, coming from Skyler, and he had lived it and stuff, and I'm like, man, is he right? Is he wrong? What's going on? And
It's about to bring me to
so
tears, man.
anyway, about a year and a half ago, so I go and I get to the doctor, and they want to run blood work and ultrasounds or whatever on my stomach and my sides, and what they found out was my liver enzymes were like 8 times escalated. They should be between 40 and 50 or something, and mine were 3 and 400.
Good grief.
And so it shook me, and I knew what was about to happen again. I'm really overweight at this time, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't think I'm healthy enough to go through everything that I went through. And so I ended up stopped drinking for a month, and to see if my liver would self-heal. And it was a huge accomplishment for me, because at that point I I just hadn't gone a day without it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, and so anyway, we go back to the blood comes in, I quit, I get more blood, and it comes back, and I'm right there at normal now. So my liver self-healed. I was like, heck yeah. Well, come home, and I'm like, man, I want to celebrate with a glass of wine. Now, at this point, my drink of choice was vodka and cranberry. And yeah, I always had a Yeti in my hand. When I had that Yeti, it was my drink.
Yep.
Me and Annie both didn't realize how much I was really drinking, because, again, it wasn't an all-day thing. It wasn't a wake up and drink. It wasn't a work and drink.
Just
it wasn't
come home and
it was a
drink.
late night type of deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a sit down, a nightcap, or
Right.
whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so we're discussing, like, how did this happen? And it's because of how much vodka I was really putting in my cup. And until I sat down and realized, like, man, you know, this much vodka a week, you know, 2 and 3 liters or whatever, and like, man, it adds up. So it's a bunch. And
Yeah.
then, you know,
Yeah.
you drink, and then your ice melt, and then you kind of splash it, and it just kind of built up and built up. And so I got clean and came back good bill of health, and I was like, let's have a glass of wine. I want to celebrate. Never drank wine, didn't think it'd be a problem. So we had a glass of wine together, and that was it. And you know, I'm not one to drink and at dinner time and go home and then sip on water until I go to bed. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I drank, and when I started, like,
You didn't stop.
no need for water. There's
Yeah.
no need for water. I'm gonna
Yeah.
drink no water.
Yep.
You know, and man, that wine, you know, it was fine. I did it, and then, you know, 2 days later, I'm like, man, I had a really stressful day at work. I did 1 glass of wine the other night. Hey, Annie, you want to have another glass of wine? Yeah, let's do it. So it kind of turned into this husband and wife type of time. And before I knew it, 1 glass was going to 2 glasses. And then what I felt like was once or twice a week was now, again, every night. And I was like, you know what? I still have vodka in the fridge. I have some other things. You know, I don't like Moscow mules. So I wonder if I can make my drink as a Moscow mule. And then I get my drink, but then I won't go back to how I was.
Yeah.
Well, my new favorite drink became a Moscow Mule. And, it spiraled out. And
I
it
don't
went
even
right
know what
back
that
again.
is. It don't matter, but
Huh?
no.
Yeah, and it went right back to where it was, full-fledged drinking and a lot of drinking and gosh, man, I knew we had 2 vacations coming up in the summertime, one in June and one in July.
Yeah.
And I remember driving to the one in June with just my family. And I was like, hey, it's a Saturday. I was like, we need to make a stop when we get close because I need to run in. I didn't take any alcohol with me.
Okay.
And, well, I guess we tried stopping right before 10. Well, they shut down right before 9. And, like, the irritation I had and how sad I was ridiculous. Something that I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
So we go to the hotel, no alcohol, whatever, do it. And it was fine, and come home, go. And I remember telling Annie, it's like, all right, listen, I can't keep drinking, but I'm not gonna, after this next vacation, I'm done. And at this point too, we have started, our kids I was mowing every Sunday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And Galveston, it was an all-day thing. It was every other weekend. And, man, it was hard. It was hot. It was long hours. And so when I did that, my kids would go to Annie's parents' house. And they were there Saturday and Sunday. Well, Sunday morning, the girls' other grandparents, so, they have Annie's, in-laws, ex-in-laws.
Yeah.
They would come by and pick up all the kids, my 3, and then their 2, Annie's sister's kids.
Yeah.
And then they would take them to church. And so now my wife's ex-in-laws are now taking all my kids and these 2 kids all to church every Sunday.
Huh.
Our kids absolutely loved it. And so that was a blessing, because we were going maybe when we needed to, once every 3 months, once every 4 months. So I am now, we get to the vacation. I drank hard. I wasn't going to have one of these, oh, man, I didn't get my last drink, my last high or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did it, and it was a good vacation, but it had its ups and downs too. And we left in July 18th, 2019. And there were some people that doubted, like, man, can you really do this? Don't set yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a Saturday or a Friday when we left. And so I had to mow. The kids are going. I mowed Saturday. And get home, and me and the wife are laying in bed, and the kids are at the grandparents, and we start talking about what we needed to do tomorrow. I wanted to sleep in, and we start praying, getting down, and like, man, we need to go check out this church that our kids are going to, see if they're getting fed and stuff like that. And so we woke up and we showed up, and the people were awesome. It was a startup church. It was maybe 4 months old at the time. And the message just hit me perfect, and about being strong and, being the head of a dragon, Satan attacks the head, and,
Mm-hmm.
Being a man, you're the head of the dragon, all these things just start coming, and I'm like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is what I need, and I'm living my life in prayer now. I'm now no drugs, now no alcohol.
Amen.
And,
Amen.
I'm not experiencing withdrawals. And I had gone to the doctor. I had gotten medicine just in case. You know, I had prepared my way,
Yeah.
and I didn't need none of it.
That's
And
awesome.
it's because I weathered the storm. He was there. And at this point, I realized what he was saying to me years ago. Just come to me with this, and we're gonna do this together.
Yeah.
But you're gonna fail if you do it on your own.
Yeah.
You're not strong enough. This isn't a fight for you. This isn't a fight for anybody.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. And you know, it just quickly changed. And this church, I mean, the pastor sent me a friend request after church that day, and I'm like, look at this. I'm not just a name or a face in the crowd. Like, they remember my name.
That's cool.
And next week I go. Oh, so the next week we needed to go mow.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, the place that's mowing just up and cut us off and gave the business to someone else randomly. Didn't give us an option to check the bill, the rates, everything like that. They just straight cut us off.
Okay.
So now I'm at a point like, man, I'm not tied up now every weekend. So it's like this door open in church, and then now I can start going every week. My kids love it. I'm actually loving it. They remembered everything. And I remember looking at Andy, and we both knew right then and there. And we signed up, became members. We put our name in, like, we want to be involved. Like, we want to take off with this thing. And, you know, and just kind of tackled it.
Yeah.
You know, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew that the enemy would attack us and come at us. And we've had some ups and downs and some trials that we had to really trust the Lord on and face Him, and He's prevailed for us.
Yeah.
So for the drinking, you know, today I'm actually 11 months exactly today since I had my last drink of alcohol.
Amen, man.
So
Woo!
I'm yeah, I'm pumped. Got one more to get the year, and then I'll stop counting. But you know, it's just been one of those things.
I was just screaming.
I was making sure nobody was.
Oh yeah, I was celebrating.
Hey, scream all you want.
Right. And gosh, man, but ever since doing this, Skylar, like, the things that have been happening in our life is just abnormal. You know, I mean, it's things that you never thought would happen are happening, and I couldn't be more blessed. I don't deserve it. Like, I don't deserve it.
None of us do.
But God loves us all, and He loves us all the same, and He doesn't care about my past. He doesn't care about the things I used to do, the whatever,
Yep.
how much I used to drink, how much I used to take, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, we've gotten a new house, you know, which we've been praying for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when we got the new house, it's, you know, the quarantine hit, and wife's self-employed, and she got cut off, and it's like, what are we going to do? You know, and we didn't have the money, and yet we ended up with the money, you
Right.
know, and it's like the day
Funny
the day
how that
before
happens.
rent's due and stuff's due, it's like, all right, here's your money, and it appears from an anonymous source, or, you know,
That's awesome.
we're a little bit short for this month's bills and stuff, and then someone from our church is like, hey, I don't know why, but here's $90, and that put us right to the mark. And, you know, it's just
Yeah. It's just
the
things
he's been
started coming.
showing. Yeah, and man, it's just been truly different, you know, and it's not all easy, you know, and it's definitely got its moments of trying times.
Yeah.
With the Satan, whether
Mhm.
he comes after you or he comes after your wife or your kids, which is hard.
Yeah.
You just have to remember, and you know, and through all this, y'all, it's, you know, it's a snowball effect when you, especially a man, you know, you're the head of your house, and you're the head of the dragon. When you surrender your life to the Lord, and you start living it out, praying over your kids, and one thing I want to say is I remember my dad at a very young age. My mom did it too, but I specifically remember my dad. Anytime I woke up early, my dad was awake and he was at the coffee table. He had his Bible open, he had a coffee, and he had his notebook. I remember that every morning. And that's what I want my kids to remember. I want them to know when they come in our beds at night scared or something, they know I'm in my Bible, I'm reading. Or when they wake up or something, you know, I'm reading. They remember this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, always, but I'm
Right.
getting there.
Yeah. You got to start
And
somewhere.
I don't know where I was going with that. So being the head and being a man, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
things happen, things change, and it snowballs. So we got to this church, and you know, my girls are now 9 and 8. Well, 10 and 8, almost 10 and 9, and my Fisher's 5.
Fisher.
And you know, during the quarantine, my youngest, well, I'll go back to the first one. So 3 or 4 months after I made this change in the home for myself,
I was going to say, how did it affect your kids? And now you're saying it. So it's perfect.
Sunny, my oldest, she has given her life to the Lord. She has been saved. She has been baptized.
And she came to you, didn't she?
Huh?
She came to you, didn't she? Because I remember you telling
She
me.
went to church, and you know, we have some close friends and relatives at church, and she pulled one aside and initiated it. And
awesome.
So yeah, she went and she did it all on her own, you know, and you know, and she suffers with a lot of anxiety and stress and stuff, and so it's been awesome to watch the Lord even work in her and show her, let her trust Him, and you know, and she's changing and maturing in the Lord, and
that's awesome.
you know, she has insomnia and He's putting her to sleep.
Wow.
She's trusting Him and things like that. And, you know, so when that happens, you know, my youngest daughter, who's 8, she's about to be 9, she asked the Lord to live in her heart, and she set her baptism date for when the quarantine was. Well,
yeah.
We didn't know about it then, but it came, and you know, her date came, and it wasn't something that we were pressing because we knew we couldn't go to church because of what's going on.
Right.
And so she comes up to us, and we're kind of at a pool, and she's like, I still want to get baptized. I still want to show it. So we got on Facebook Live, and I did it. And, you know, we made it all work. So she's now following the Lord and giving her life to the Lord. 5-year-old Fisher, he's constantly talking about it. He's cognizant of him.
Yeah.
You know, he's seeing it and he understands, and you know, I believe one day his time will come too.
Yeah.
And you know, now we have, you know, Annie's been involved in the church. She's now assistant children's pastor at the church, and you know, she's going strong too, and you know, her mother is now coming to church every weekend with us, and her sister's now coming to church every weekend with us, and we got members, and she's now involved in children's church too, and you know, her cousin's giving her life to the Lord, and her cousin's daughter and son are going.
It's the ripple effect, man. Once it starts, it starts, it goes. And when you serve, serve the Lord, and people catch on, and they start doing it. His love is contagious. I'll tell you that.
And man, it's just been awesome, you know, to just see and how steadfast he's been with me, how constant the Lord's been coming at me, and
Yeah.
you know, it took me a decade to learn it or more,
Hey.
but He's persistent, and,
Yep.
and if you don't have your life with the Lord, then you're not open for that. You're not able to get those convictions. You're not able to have that, you know, that self-awareness of where you're taking your life and where it should go and where it's at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
That's awesome.
that was a lot of
Yeah, so
information.
Yeah, no, you're good. So if you notice in Cody's story here, if you go back to the beginning, it's just crazy how he, you know, just 6 months on and off. And then once he applied himself, the man of the house, once he applied himself, once he started getting in the Word daily and reading and growing his relationship with the Lord, that ripple effect is when it came. First it started with him. Once the man changed, then the wife, then the kids started to follow, and then now Cody's whole family is following on Annie's side. And so it's really cool to see that and hear that testimony. It just took one man to seek the Lord out and want to grow his relationship with him, to make his family realize, because it is contagious. And once the family sees that, especially kids, because I used to be in the children's ministry in my church, obviously with COVID and everything going on. But you'll notice in kids that, I mean, I've talked about this before on the show. Kids what am I trying to say? Their love for the Lord, I believe they feel it more because they're kids. They don't have to worry about things. They don't think about things when you become an adult. They don't have any shame really when they're very young. I mean, they don't know what everything is, so it's easier when you're a child to love the Lord and for the Lord to love on them back. So I think when they realize, I think kids can see it more in others, you know, hey, Dad has changed. And I can see that, and I want the same thing. So it's really cool to see, and I remember watching the video of her getting baptized as well, and it's just pretty awesome and amazing to hear where Cody was, what he's been through, where he's at now, where his whole family's at now, and it makes me want to cry because that's how awesome it is. And it's been 11 months now, and I just remember going over there when Brittany, when we were doing chemo, and I just remember Cody drinking all the time, and I just didn't think you were ever going to change. But it takes, it's not everything's easy, like you said. This life is hard. You're going to continue to go through trials. He knows he is. I know I am. It's just a part of life. It's the world we live in, and you've got to learn how to get through things with the Lord and others that love the Lord, because if you don't, you do try to do it on your own. Like Cody has said, it doesn't work. It does not work. It does not work. I promise. So Cody, what would you, what would you say if you could tell somebody who is possibly going through maybe the same addictions or struggling still, or maybe that 6-month period or whatever it may be, what's the most important thing that you helped you and that you could tell them, just encourage them, whatever they're going through? Because I know somebody's watching. There always is, who's going through the same thing.
I have a few things, that I tell people. And one is, a craving's 5 seconds. The rest is your mental willpower. I said it earlier. But it takes you less than that to get on your knees in prayer, And for that 5 seconds, that's not your fight. That's the Lord's fight. And He will give you the strength for the rest.
Amen.
Have I had cravings? Yeah.
Right.
But I keep alcohol in my house because I want to get empowered and strengthened every time I walk by the fridge instead of going out and and being with friends, and it's been 7 months since I've been around alcohol, and now it's a whole new strength that I'm having to pull from. But you're gonna have to seek the Lord, man. I mean, I've tried it both ways. I've tried it doing it myself. I've tried it medically. I've tried it wholly giving it to the Lord. And there's only one of them that works.
Yep.
And it will change your life. The other part is you, and it's like Lecrae says on one of his first albums, is,
Who says?
you don't change yourself before Lecrae, a rapper.
Yeah, Lecrae, yeah.
You don't change yourself before you come to the Lord. You come to the Lord to be changed.
Yes. Man, that's good. That's true.
And that's what I struggle with. I knew, because I grew up in a Christian family, that you look like this or you should be like that. And if you're not, then you're wrong. And yeah, that's kind of a hard thing to swallow when you're wrong and stuff. And so
the truth hurts.
Yeah, you gotta you come to the Lord to be changed.
Especially as a man, when you get told the truth.
Yeah, and then
pride.
And the last thing I would say is find your own faith. Experience your own religion, and Christianity. Don't live and try to be the same exact Christian as your brother, as your sister, as your parents.
That's good.
Yeah. Reach out and find it yourself.
Yeah.
And be that way. Be the Christian. Let the Lord talk to you. Establish that one-on-one. This is your relationship with the Lord.
Yep.
This isn't you and your wife's relationship. This isn't even yours and your parents. This isn't anybody but your relationship.
Yeah.
And it's a unique relationship. It's a relationship that's molded exactly how you are and exactly how you need to be, and it will be exactly how it should be.
Yeah. Amen, man. It's so good. Well, we've got to wrap it up here. So thank you guys all for watching and listening to Cody Drew, my cousin's story here.
Will he be back on next week?
If he wants to be, yes. I probably might have him back next week.
He's got a great story.
More time. Yeah.
And there's probably more to it.
Yep. So
I can identify with a lot of it.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people can. So if you are, if this did encourage you, or would encourage somebody else, because we all know that somebody who is struggling. We all have that friend that we always want to reach out to, but sometimes we don't. We're scared, or we're timid, or we've done it so many times in the past we quit saying it. Trust in the Lord, and just love on others. And I completely lost a train of thought of where I was going with that.
No, that sounds really good.
But anyways, thank you all for watching, and we will be back on next week at 9 a.m. Well, actually, depending on work, it's supposed to be Monday to Wednesday in Kansas City. Hopefully come back Wednesday. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Might be back on next Thursday. We'll
if
let
not,
you
your
know.
mom might be here.
Yeah, I'll put Mom on. So it will be on. The power will be here. It'll be either me and Cody or my mother. So, yeah. We love you. God bless you. My name is Skylar, and this is Cody Drew, my cousin. Like I said, share this. Share it everywhere you can, because it's an incredible story and what God's doing. So thank you all for watching. We love you, and thank you for watching the Power Hour.